Welcome back to another deadline stream for UCL Fantasy. This is for Matchday 9. Unfortunately, this won't be the usual video quality. I've downgraded it to 360p to ensure the stream does go ahead today because since I woke up, the internet has just massively dipped in terms of the speeds. It's usually, a few hundred megabytes per second basically, and now it's literally just really bad quality. So hopefully things can run smoothly. There's no lagging and anything. And also it doesn't cut out because, this sea is famed for a lot of power cuts. So hopefully it doesn't happen like it did in the Matchday 1. I think it was Game Week 1 for FPL this season when I was in Greece. And then we had a power cut there. So hopefully, fingers crossed, none of that happens. But here we are until hopefully 8 p.m. UK time when the kickoffs begin for Bayern Munich versus Man City. We should get the lineups very soon. When it does, I'll be putting it up on screen for you, and I'll also be talking about my proposed transfers. But I'm waiting for the lineups first, then I'm going to be confirming my moves. But I think it's really just down to one or two players, really. I think most of it is pretty set in stone, as I discussed in the team selection video. So welcome. Thank you very much to everyone. Thank you, Harry, for tuning in as well. Always a pleasure. Wei Seng too. And we've got a few more questions in here as well. So let's go through these. Danny Carvajal or Cancelo? Carvajal hasn't been nailed on in recent weeks. That's the issue with him. And sometimes it's Nacho coming in. But with Alaba being an injury doubt and a few other problems for Real Madrid like Ferland Mendy, then I wouldn't rule out Carvajal of starting in this game. Who do I prefer? I'd say Carvajal just because of the clean sheet probabilities. But I think both of them are a risk in terms of minutes. That is the issue. But I'd go for Carvajal just in case he starts. Who do you recommend in defence? I would go for Benfica and Madrid defenders primarily for this match day specifically, but I think kind of a general back five, and you can see in my best wildcard and limitless team videos, would include Di Lorenzo, Grimaldo, probably a second Benfica defender. I'd probably go for Antonio Silva with Barr being injured and Otamendi being suspended. Then the other defenders would probably include Rudiger/Militao, and the final defender, probably Nathan Ake if I had to pick a fifth one, but you could even go for a double up in Real Madrid defensively. So 5 of those 6 and you'll be fine. Best Madrid defender, I'd probably say Militao. Looking at recent form and also minutes, I think Militao just really nailed on. He's also got a lot of goal threat compared to the others, you could argue. So I'd say Militao, but it's quite close between him and Rudiger. Welcome, Hosea. Hope the stream goes well. Thank you. Hopefully it does. Like I said, the quality isn't ideal, but the main thing is that it runs smoothly. If I try to use the normal settings, it just wouldn't last a second. I tried it myself. I did some tests and kind of on the fly, I managed to find something that hopefully does work. Welcome, Harry. Not very caught up on team news. Is Osimhen a sell? I believe so. Now, you can make an argument of keeping him because I think he'll be available for matchday 10, but most of us will be upgrading him. So you're going to go to a forward like Benzema, Rafa Silva, or even Gonzalo Ramos. They're all more expensive than Osimhen. So even if you sell Osimhen and he goes up in price, buying him back shouldn't be an issue really. So I probably would sell him and then bring him back in because I think the latest news that I saw, and I was trying to find the official news and the official squads, but most of the outlets I saw today stated that he's not in the Napoli squad against AC Milan, and Raspadori is, but he's also got a bit of a knock and a problem, and the other striker, Giovanni Simeone, is out. So Napoli have a lot of striker issues at the moment, and Osimhen is one of them. Welcome, Goldhead. Good to see you. Yeah, I'm excited. I'll be honest, I've been very frustrated today because I'm trying to find a solution to the streaming issues that I've been having and the internet problems. But like I said, hopefully it does go smoothly. Thank you, Harry. Is Osimhen fit? It looks like he isn't. And he actually said a week or two ago that he's really targeting this first leg against AC Milan to return. But I think most likely he'll return for the second leg now in matchday 10. Yeah, I mean, like I said, unfortunately, I will not be able to have better quality. I have tried my best to find another solution. This is the best I could do from a pretty bad situation, I'd say. Let's see. So I'm already really far behind. UCL Fantasy live chat, so just absolutely unbelievable. And I'm even got it on subscribers mode, and it doesn't really matter because, yeah, it's just absolutely busy. Thank you, Joao. Some major predicaments today, including selling or holding Osimhen, which City buying assets to target. Yeah, I agree. I think Osimhen is a sell because, like I said, you're mainly going to buy forwards that are more expensive and it's easy to buy him back in. And I don't think he's going to be available or starts tomorrow. I think he's not in the squad. If you see anything official, then let me know. But all of the outlets I saw said that he's not in the squad. Thank you, Emmanuel. I appreciate it. Yeah, the quality's back in the 2000s. Yeah, you got to laugh about it, to be fair. What do you plan to do with Osimhen to sell him? So I did discuss the possibility in all of my videos, and I said the main replacement for me is Gonzalo Ramos, but I was going to wait for kind of more official news about him, but it looks like he's out of the squad. Welcome, Dave. Good to see you here once again. Goldhead says, I've got a City triple up, but I still favour Bayern for the win. Yeah, I think Bayern are more likely to go through, but at the Etihad, you would give City the edge, I think. Dylan has 5 free transfers, only needs 4. Baller. Thank you. I'm probably going to use all 5, to be honest. Are you keeping Osimhen or going for an alternative? I'm probably going to go for an alternative, and it's probably going to be Gonzalo Ramos there, lost. Fadi says, is Raspadori fit? So apparently he's in the squad, but he still has a bit of an issue. And actually, all of the strikers, Osimhen, I think maybe not Giovanni Simeone, it might have been Raspadori, they've been training in isolation away from the group. So that doesn't really bode well. And Napoli could even consider a bit of let's say, experimentation in the forward line. And they could place someone a bit kind of unorthodox in the forward line, maybe Lozano, for example. But I think Raspadori has the best chance, of course, of starting from any Napoli striker, that's for sure. Osimhen or Ramos? I'd go for Ramos simply because I don't think Osimhen is going to be available. Mahrez or Grealish? Usually I'd say Mahrez, but based on recent form and also minutes and how nailed on they are, I'd probably go for Grealish. So Joao says Osimhen to Ramos, Messi to Benzema, Bellingham to Kevin De Bruyne, Onana to Courtois, Ottomani to Rudiger. Thoughts? I think it's very spot on. You could maybe make a case for Militao instead of Rudiger, but that's almost 50-50. The other moves look fantastic, and I wouldn't change anything whatsoever. So, yeah, I think the only 50-50 for you, Joao, is whether you go for Militao instead of Rudiger, just because he's been better in the UCL Fantasy this season and also in recent games in La Liga. Dawn puts his team. I think I replied to your comment on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. What moves to make? I think Mbappe to Benzema is very simple. I'd probably do Osimhen to Gonzalo Ramos. And yeah, if you don't have the funds, I think another thing you can do is downgrade Reece James to facilitate that. So maybe Reece James down to, let's say, Nathan Ake. I think actually you just said Ake. Yeah, I think it's probably Ake. In that case, you could even go to just a cheaper defender like Nacho. And that might give you enough money to make the other moves I mentioned. And some other things you could do include Salah to De Bruyne. So yeah, I think you should have enough funds there, Dawn, to make those moves that I said. And ideally, in terms of defenders to buy this week, I'd go for a Real Madrid defender like Militao. Yeah, I'm doing well. Carl, what about you? Thank you very much for asking. I'd go for Ramos. Now, Leao destroyed Napoli just literally a week ago now. I think it was on the 2nd of April when they played. But yeah, I still would back Gonzalo Ramos for the ceiling in this game. And also in terms of probabilities of advancing to the next round. And also I've got my wildcard, so do you think I should use it? It depends how many transfers you're looking to make, because if you could just sort out your issues or, you know, build a really good team with 5 free transfers, then you could just save the wildcard for Matchday 11. But I've said to most people, if you can, I'd use it now or in Matchday 11. Those are the 2 best match days, I think. What about Osimhen? I think he's a sell. Based on all the news we're getting, it doesn't look like he's in the squad. So yeah, I'd sell him. Sane or KDB, I think that's what it says. I'd go for KDB in this match day at least. Thank you, Goldhead. I appreciate it. And as he says, let's try to rack up the likes very soon. Let's try to get this stream first off to over 100 likes and then keep on pushing towards 200, then possibly 300, depending on how much or how many people we have today. Diaz versus Upamecano. I'd favour Diaz for this match day. I back Man City a little bit more for the clean sheet, and also Man City have been on a roll. Bayern Munich have been a bit inconsistent, even with Thomas Tuchel so far. I'm 89 in the world. I think I'll drop in rank. I mean, it's possible, but you never know. Even if you just go down a few places, that's fine. You're in a really good position, and you still could get a green arrow, depending on a bit of luck as well sometimes. If you had a wild card, would you use it now? If I had a wild card, I think I would use it, but that doesn't mean you should use it, because you might have some different players and you might not need to make 6 transfers or more, because remember, we have 5 free transfers anyway, so you've got plenty of flexibility in terms of your moves. But I think I would, because I'd be getting rid of Osimhen. I'd probably get 1 or 2 Real Madrid defenders. I would probably even get Nathan Ake, change one of my goalkeepers, change another midfielder or 2, and obviously 2 forwards. So yeah, if I still had the wild card, I'd probably use it right now. Do you think I go for Courtois, Carvajal with Onana, or Merit Onana, Carvajal? My preference would be the double up in range against AC Milan. It's possible, but in both games they've played this season, AC Milan scored 4 in the recent game, and they also scored once in their defeat to Napoli early in the season. Which midfielders would you recommend with a 9.9 million budget? Leroy Sané is always up there. I think the other one really to highlight is Jack Grealish. No doubt about it. Of course, Joao Mario and Kvaratskhelia go without saying. I've always recommended them. So apart from those two, who are kind of no-brainers, I'd probably say Grealish or Sane. So yeah, Dawn, we have answered that question. So hopefully you got that. Keep Chilwell or Kepa. I'd rather keep Kepa as a Balaga. KDB for Mahrez. Yeah, I think it's worth it. Welcome, Nelton. Don't go with Ramos. Benfica never passed the stage of the UCL. It's not just a transfer for the long term, though. This is kind of a short-term punt. I'm probably going to get Osimhen back in matchday 10. So it's really just for one match day. I think Gonzalo Ramos has the high ceiling apart from Osimhen if he starts, which I don't think he does, Benzema and Erling Haaland. Good luck to you as well, Steve. Thank you very much for the kind words. Carvalho is not nailed. If you just check his recent minutes in La Liga, I think he started the last game 90 minutes, but then the previous game he didn't even play. It's kind of been like that for several weeks now. He's not nailed by any stretch of the imagination. I think he will start, but he's not nailed. Yeah, don't worry. The FPL deadline is not today. I'll probably be streaming, if possible, on the Friday for FPL, because with the time difference here, it's going to be impossible for me to stream on Saturday, which would be ideal. And literally on the day I'm traveling, there's a Friday deadline, so I'll probably have a quick nap. This is in 2 weeks' time, by the way, for Gaming 32, and then try to do the stream from home. But yeah, that's going to be a bit of a weird one. And literally right now it's 31 degrees. It's boiling hot here. Who are the best Osimhen replacements? I mean, apart from Benzema and Haaland, who go without saying, I'd say Gonzalo Ramos, Rafael Leao, or Rafa Silva in that order. Welcome, Tech. Good to see you. Best goalkeepers. I covered this in the video, so in my opinion, it'd be Courtois and Vlachodimos/Onana, and I think Vlachodimos is probably the most likely to get a clean sheet and go through to the next round. If you've got 6 players not playing, would you use 5 free transfers and keep Osimhen or Otamendi, or do 6 transfers and take a -4? That's a great question, Zodiac, and with your position, I can understand why you're really debating this in your head. With hits, I mean, it can pay off, but you're really looking at, it's kind of a difficult one because unless it's a striker or midfielder, I just wouldn't take a hit for a goalkeeper or defender. That goes without saying because the ceiling generally is quite lower. I think I'd just stick with the 5 free transfers and probably keep Otamendi. And I'd rather sell Osimhen and go and chase that upside for a Gonzalo Ramos, for example. Neres worth a punt? I think he could be, but I just rather would go for Rafa Silva or Gonzalo Ramos. KDB or Grealish? KDB. I mean, if you look at his record in the Champions League, it's sensational, this season included. And with Grealish, as good as he's been recently, I wouldn't do that. Benfica going in? I mean, they're not guaranteed to go through, but I would back them a little bit more than Inter Milan, who have been awful. I think they've scored 2 goals in the last 5 games, and despite Benfica losing to Porto recently, they still have a commanding lead in the Portuguese league, and they've been one of the best teams in the world this season. I'm staying in Argentina. I have been here for like 2 weeks, and I'm here for another 2 weeks pretty much, or just under 2 weeks, and then I'm back in the UK. Is Grealish or Gundogan a good option? I'd probably go for Grealish out of those two, but I prefer Kevin De Bruyne. Best midfielder for this match day? Probably Joao Mario or... I'd probably say Kevin De Bruyne. I mean, I'm forgetting Vinicius Junior, aren't I? Yeah, Vinicius Junior or Joao Mario. I think in that order. Who's the best Madrid defender in your opinion? Probably Militao. It's between him and Rudiger, and I'd probably go for Militao right now. Mane or KDB? KDB. It's 33 degrees right now in Jamaica. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure, Steve, if it's summer where you're at, but literally it's autumn here. It's supposed to be autumn, and it's literally like 30 degrees every day. So absolutely unbelievable. Stones and Bernardo Silva starts. Yeah, okay, let's go through the lineups then. Thank you to everyone who's been putting their comments forward. I appreciate it. Let me try to get the lineup on screen. Hopefully nothing happens. We've got over 200 people watching and we still have a long way to go for 100 likes, but let's keep on racking up that number. And also, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you can put your comments forward in the live chat, and also for more FPL and UCL fantasy content, not just this week, but also in the weeks and months to come. So thank you very much for all the support. Let's now bring up the lineups. Let's see if I can see them. They should be up by now. I'm on UEFA's website. I haven't seen anything from... in terms of Man City versus Bayern, and also with the other game either. That is a bit surprising, but there you go. Once I see the lineups, I will be confirming it, and we can talk about it on stream and react. But yeah, I'm also checking Twitter very quickly. I don't think I'm going to see it right now. If you've got any links, then be sure to pop them in the live chat. But yeah, so far it doesn't look like we have anything. So I'll wait a little bit longer. Keep or sell Kingsley and Riyadh? I think I'd sell Kingsley Coman and keep Riyad Mahrez if Mahrez starts, but just wait for the lineup, of course, before confirming anything. Prediction: Milan versus Napoli. I mean, it's difficult one to tell. Napoli are the better team overall, but literally a week ago, AC Milan destroyed Napoli in their own backyard 4-0. But the one thing that really stands out to me is the European pedigree. Napoli have never reached this stage of the competition before, whilst AC Milan are one of the best in Champions League history, and I think that does play a part. I think AC Milan have the edge at the San Siro, and despite Napoli beating them there earlier this season, I'd probably give AC Milan a little bit of an edge here. But overall, you'd still back Napoli to advance to the next round. Best midfielder for this match day, Vinicius Jr. for me. Thank you, Irish. Yeah, I'm enjoying my holidays. I'll be honest though, today I was raging because of this situation, but yeah, apart from that, all good. Best midfielder up to 7 million, apart from Kvaratskhelia and João Mario. Up to 7 million, that is a tough one. Even players like Rodri aren't too bad with ball recoveries in mind, but I'll be honest, I don't really look at too many options at 7 million and below. So let's actually switch this to the transfer section and give you a definitive answer, because that is a good question, and sometimes you might not have the funds to, do something else. Let's go to midfielders and let's sort this out by price. So a midfielder at 7 million or below. Valverde is always a decent option. Goretzka as well. Kimmich, I think they're pretty decent, but if I had to pick one, looking down this list, I mean, Musiala, I've actually was talking about this in the comment section with some people. He's not my favourite Bayern Munich midfielder, but still decent value, I think, for an attacking midfielder for Bayern Munich. Yeah, really looking down this list, I think the midfielder I'd really highlight to you, it's probably one of Valverde or Goretzka. I think one of those two, apart from obviously João Mario and Kvaratskhelia, who you already have. So yeah, it's probably one of those two. And actually, oddly enough, early in the season, Zambu Anguissa was doing really well, and he hasn't been an option in recent weeks, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, I'd probably say Goretzka if I had to pick one. Maybe not necessarily for this match day, but in the long term, I think he's a decent choice. Is Bastoni a good option? Yes, but I'd rather just go for Darmian, who's nailed his 4.2 million, and also a Nana, who's the best way of covering Inter Milan defensively. Yeah, Pono, Gnabry or Mane. I'd probably give Gnabry the edge looking at recent games, because Mane's minutes have been inconsistent. He's coming back from a long-term injury, and Gnabry actually played as a forward, as a striker, in the last game against Freiburg with Thomas Tuchel, so I'd probably give Gnabry the edge there. Best captain this week? Well, remember, we have two options, one on the Tuesday and on the Wednesday. On the Tuesday, I'd say Erling Haaland or João Mario, and on the Wednesday, a Real Madrid attacker, either Benzema or Vinicius Jr. Yeah, exactly, Irish BVB. And that's why I'm a bit tempted, but if I were to get rid of Mahrez, I think I'm going to go for Grealish instead. Just basing it really off this game, and I also like Leroy Sané a lot, but yeah, once we get the lineups, then I'll start to think about that a little bit more. But Gnabry has been in my thoughts. He's just not at the top of my list, though. And Kevin De Bruyne is the priority for me in the midfield. Valverde won't start. Rodrigo's tip to start the right wing position. For Real Madrid. Yeah, that's possible. That is possible. And generally, I'm not a big fan of Valverde, but we're really just talking about cheap midfielders. Valverde or Brahim Diaz. Long term, I still prefer Valverde. De Bruyne or Grealish. De Bruyne. Gonzalo Ramos or Osimhen. Simply because Osimhen doesn't look like he's going to start, I'd go for Gonzalo Ramos. Is Theo Hernandez a good option? Yeah, he is a good option. Despite facing Napoli, I could, let me not say I could see a clean sheet, but I wouldn't be surprised if AC Milan kept one clean sheet over the two legs. And even then, he's been fantastic in the Champions League this season, and also in recent Serie A matches, AC Milan have been keeping a lot of clean sheets. So yeah, he is a good option. Antonio Silva and KDB or Militao and Grealish? I mean, they're both really good duos, but I'd go for Antonio Silva and KDB. Choupo-Moting is injured. That's why he's not in contention to start. So it should be Gnabry playing as the forward against Man City today. Should I keep or sell Otamendi? I'd sell him. He's suspended for this game, and you can always buy him back after. Thank you, Sudindra. I'm going to go through that right now then. So let's go through that. Yeah, I can see the lineups here. Thank you very much. So let's react to it live. So this is the lineups here. So, Ederson, Ruben Dias, Stones, Ake, Gundogan, Erling Haaland, Grealish, Rodri, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, and Akanji. So, yeah, no surprises really there. Yeah, Mars is in the squad. Yeah, this is what I mean. He's on the bench. He's going to be a sell for me now. So there we go. Mars is going to be sold here. In terms of Bayern Munich, Sommer, Upamecano, De Ligt, Havard, Kimmich, Gnabry, Goretzka, Sane, Coman, Davis, and Musiala. So no Sadio Mane. He's on the bench, it looks like. Or am I stupid? I probably am stupid. Maybe I read out his name and I didn't even realize. No, he's not in the squad, it looks like. That is a bit of a surprise. No, he's here. I literally just read his name out. He's right here. He's on the bench, but yeah, for those of you with Mane, I'd probably look to sell. I know he can come off the bench and score, but the ceiling is on paper not that high anyway. So yeah, in terms of this game now, I think the best midfielders to really target, probably in order, is Kevin De Bruyne first, maybe Grealish second with this leg in mind, and then I'd probably say Sane, Gnabry, and Coman. But Gnabry being out of position as the forward looks really enticing, I have to say that. And I am considering buying him now, especially with Mahrez missing out. So those are the lineups for Man City Bayern. Let's also see if we can get the Benfica Inter Milan lineups, and they are out as well. So let's go through that too. All right, so with Benfica, we've got Vlaco Dimos, Gilberto, Antonio Silva, Morato, Grimaldo, Chiquinho, Florentino, Rafa Silva, João Mario, Arsenis, I probably absolutely butchered that, and Gonzalo Ramos. And in terms of Inter Milan, Onana, Bastoni, Acerbi, Darmian, DeMarco, Mkhitaryan, Brozovic, Barella, Dumfries, Lautaro Martinez, and Edin Dzeko. So yeah, not too many surprises there apart from Lukaku being on the bench. I think that would be the big shock from Inter Milan's perspective. In terms of Benfica, remember, Ottoman suspended and Bar picked up an injury against Porto. He came off around 26 minutes, and just after that, it all went downhill for Benfica in that classic in Portugal. So yeah, that is those are the lineups for all of the teams. We're going to go back to the Man City one because that's the game that will generate the most interest. And let me know your thoughts in the live chat. Thank you, Silindra, for letting me know. I appreciate it. Is Kalinoglu an option? He's injured. Let me just double check that quickly. Yeah, he's injured, and he was already a doubt heading into this match day. He's not even on the bench, as we can see here. Yeah, he's not on the bench, so Kalinoglu is not someone to consider. I wouldn't go for an Inter Milan midfielder anyway, to be quite frank. Should I sell Mahrez or Edison? Can't sell both. I wouldn't sell Edison for a minus as part of a -4. I just sell Mahrez. He's on the bench anyway, so. Rodrigo. Yeah, I'd consider him, but I don't think I'm going to go there. I think I'd rather go for... I mean, look, he's facing Chelsea. That is the big advantage. That's the big appeal. But I'm not so sure. Gundogan, buena opción, o me quedo con Musiala? Sí, yo creo que es difícil porque con Gundogan y Musiala no son las mejores opciones de ambos equipos, pero si tuviera que elegir uno, sería Gundogan para esta jornada. Ramos or Silva from Benfica? It would be Silva. Sorry, no, Gonzalo Ramos. Gonzalo Ramos. Is Coman to Gnabry worth it for free? I think so, but it can backfire because remember just a few weeks ago it was Coman that scored the goal against PSG in Paris. So look, it can backfire, but I think it is worth it. Gnabry out of position is very enticing. Yeah, Mahrez is benched. Would you keep Vlaco Dimos? I think I would. I think a triple up in Benfica defence could work out really well in this match day. Remember, Inter Milan have scored 2 goals in the last 5 games. Osimhen isn't fit, it looks like, so I'd probably sell him. Kyle Walker bench makes Davis look even more interesting. We've seen what he can do going forwards in the KO stages. Yeah, that is a decent point. Then again, with Kyle Walker, he hasn't really been in favour of Pep Guardiola in recent weeks, and even Pep came out and said kind of a weird comment about him, which wouldn't fill a player with confidence, let's put it that way. And Man City have been doing really well in Kyle Walker's absence, but I do get what you mean. Kyle Walker defensively is very solid on that side, but I don't think City will struggle too much in general defensively, but I could be wrong because they generally do bottle it at this stage of the competition. Best attacking option from Bayern, I'd probably give the edge to Gnabry or Sane. Sane is my favourite overall, but with Gnabry out of position, that could really be something to look at. Yeah, wildcards making more sense. Yeah, of course. I don't have the wildcard, so I obviously can't use it, but I think for those of you that have it, and you have Mahrez, for example, I think it's a good opportunity. Musiala or Kimmich? I prefer Kimmich just because of ball recoveries and a few other aspects like that. Yeah, no Cancelo. That Saudi went to Bayern to start and he's still on the bench. Yeah, even under different managers, Nagelsmann and now Thomas Tuchel. Should we consider Leao as an option? Of course, I mention him in all my videos, but I prefer Gonzalo Ramos. Best Real Madrid defender to go for, I'd go for Militao. Yeah, Cancelo is benched. 2 midfielders to take if I already have Vinicius, Kvaratskhelia, João Mario. Kevin De Bruyne, and maybe Gnabry. Mario Haaland, first day captain. I'm probably going for Haaland, but my captaincy luck has been awful recently, I'd say, in the Champions League, so maybe I'm not the best person to tell you that. Best third striker after Benzema and Haaland, I'd say Gonzalo Ramos. Usually it's Osimhen, but he doesn't look like he's going to play. What's the smart thing to do? Transfer Morris or bench him? Transfer. And also, it doesn't make sense to bench him because what you do is start him, and whatever points he gets, then you wait and see, and then you can sub him out tomorrow. But I'd sell him, to be honest. Ramos is captain. I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. I'm also considering Jean Mario for the captaincy too. Man City or Bayern? I'd give Man City the edge today. I think they're the better team in general, but I think what ultimately will get Bayern Munich through to the next round is their European pedigree and Man City's mentality when it comes to this stage. Leao or Ramos? I'd go for Ramos. As an Arsenal fan, I'm hoping City make the finals. I mean, I don't like City necessarily. I like the way they play. No matter what happens, Arsenal need to focus on themselves, and it's all in their hands. They can still win the title. I see what you mean there. I think maybe them going far in the competition does benefit Arsenal in a way, but yeah, either way, I don't know. I just literally, anything that happens, Man City can still go on and win every game. I don't think they will, but yeah, I mean, they've got some pretty good fixtures in the Premier League. Rudiger, Militao, and why? Militao, because he's been better in the Champions League this season, and also in terms of recent form in the Liga. It's already covered. De Bruyne or Grealish? De Bruyne. Yeah, Grealish is not a bad option. Dylan, if I send my transfer now, can I save it for the second leg next week? No. No transfers roll over in the knockout stages. They only roll over in the group stages. Then I really like the idea of Grealish attacking down Pavard's side. He can panic sometimes, the Frenchman. Yeah, I don't think Pavard's a good defender. I think he's pretty poor, actually. You could be right there, but you could also make the same case for those on Bayern Munich's left side against Man City's right side. But yeah, I think that is a good shout. And Grealish has been in great form. Goal and assist in both of his last two games. Now I've got 7 out with Cancelo not playing. Yeah, that isn't ideal. But then again, in your situation, I wouldn't take a -8 for sure. A -4 at the maximum, absolute maximum. Grealish or KDB? Kevin De Bruyne, already covered. And you can see here the lineups. I'll keep it up for a little bit longer. It should be a fascinating game later today. Grealish or Zielinski? Grealish. I went for Leao over Osimhen. Hope he starts and hauls. Leao will start, there's no doubt about it. Happy Easter to you as well, Jack. Thank you very much. Rudiger plus Kepa or Theo Hernandez plus Merit? Rudiger and Kepa, I think, is the better duo. Should I double down on Benfica or Raul for defenders? That's a good question. Probably Benfica. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one because you could argue Madrid have the best chance of a clean sheet. The bookmakers will tell you that. I even said that in my videos. But over the two legs, I think Benfica are the more likely to keep 2 clean sheets, and also I think they offer better value. A lot of the Madrid defenders cost 5.5 million, so I'd probably go for the Benfica defenders. Dzeko or Ramos as a differential? Ramos. Inter Milan have scored 2 goals in the last 5 games. Benfica are the better team. They're at home. I'd give Benfica the edge there. Greetings. Other than KDB, which Man City midfielder do you recommend? Probably Grealish, especially in his new role. I'm not writing Inter off necessarily, and also in terms of Champions League pedigree in recent years, they're superior to Benfica, but I would give Benfica the edge at least in this leg, that's for sure, and I also think they're the better team in general. Grealish or Gnabry? That is a good question, and something I need to think about now. I would give Grealish the edge in this leg, but I really like the idea of Gnabry out of position. KDB and Ake or Grealish and Hernandez? Probably KDB and Ake, but both duos are fine. Yeah, Coman to Gnabry, I would do it gold head, but it can backfire, like I said earlier. Yeah, Mara's on the bench. I talked about this in my recent videos in the team selection even. Even with Foden out, it doesn't surprise me to see him on the bench, so it's just worth selling him at this point. I'm not going to go back to Mahrez at this point. He's been very frustrating for me. No Bayern midfielder for 2 City mids. I like the idea of a Bayern Munich midfielder. In my team selection video, I discussed getting in Mane, for example, but yeah, I think if I were to go for a Bayern midfielder, it would be Sane or Gnabry. How many transfers will there be in the second leg? 3 transfers. It will be the same in the semi-finals. 5 transfers for the first leg, 3 for the second leg. Mejor equipo wildcard, ya con estas alineaciones. Creo que es lo mismo. Quizás podemos poner Gnabry en vez de Sané, pero no hay mucha diferencia ahí. También tienes a Grealish, pero la mayoría de la defensa y de todo el equipo está casi lo mismo. También en vez de Osimhen pondría a Gonzalo Ramos, que ya expliqué en ese video. I have 7 out now. Do I play wildcard? That is a good question. I'd probably wildcard, but this is the issue, because if you wildcard now, then Limitless in Matchday 8, it might be a bit counterproductive. So I do get your frustrations there. I'd probably Limitless, actually, in your situation there, Dawn. Kimmich or Valverde? I'd go for Kimmich. Replacement for Osimhen, Gonzalo Ramos. You can't roll transfers in the knockout stages. It's all in the rules. You can in the group stages, but you can't in the knockouts. You already get plenty of transfers anyway. Go for both De Bruyne and Grealish, or De Bruyne and Joao Mario. De Bruyne and Joao Mario without a shadow of a doubt. Vinicius or Mane? Vinicius, no doubt about it. Mane's not even in the starting 11. He's on the bench. Rafa Silva, Ramos, both are really good. Rafa Silva's been better in the Champions League, but I'd go for Gonzalo Ramos. Most nailed Madrid defender, Militao. That is for sure. So we've shown these lineups for plenty of time, let's say. Let's now go into my transfer plan. So I'm now going to make some changes. This is what I was going to go for if Mahrez started, but now I have a bit of a dilemma on my hands. So I might end up keeping Darmian here, have that double up in Inter Milan defensively, which isn't ideal. And instead, I'm going to sell Riyad Mahrez. And let's actually put a poll out on this channel in the live chat. And let's let the community decide. I've already got an idea of 2 or 3 midfielders I'm looking at, but let's let the public decide here. So give me a second here, and I'll put this up as a poll. So let me know as well in the comments, in terms of the live chat, just write down the name of the player you're going to go for if you have Riyad Mahrez. Who are you going to replace him with? For me, it's between Grealish, Sane, and Gnabry. I think that's what I'm going to go for. Yeah, I'm already seeing a lot of shouts for Grealish. That's pretty interesting. He's probably going to win the poll, but... So, who are you going to replace Mahrez with? Let's do this very quickly. So let's put Grealish, Sane, Gnabry. Trying to think if I could put someone else from another team. Yeah, Rodrigo deserves a shout. He really does. I'd go for Rodrigo. So yeah, I can only put 4, unfortunately. Otherwise, I'd put maybe a 5th or 6th option as well. So who are you going to replace Mahrez with? Grealish, Sane, Gnabry, or Rodrigo? I did an autocorrect. I think that's fine. There we go. So yeah, just going to wait for that to load. All right. Once again, for those of you that maybe are tuning in right now, apologies for the quality. It's the best I could do because the internet speeds today have been absolutely awful. The speeds are usually much quicker than it is at home, but today they've dropped. I think it might be a city issue. So yeah, I had to compensate by downgrading the quality, and hopefully things are running smoothly, and we can go through until the end, until the game starts. But yeah, Grealish is already winning. I have to say, I'm quite tempted. Right now, if I had to do a ranking, it'd probably be Grealish first, maybe Rodrigo second, Gnabry third, Sane fourth. But honestly, it could go either way. All 4 are quality, and they could do very well in this match day. All right, so let's try to whiz through some of these tomorrow. I just saw the word tomorrow and I got a bit distracted. Rodrigo, 6 million is cheap, last minute, low budget. Yeah, I think he's a decent option at that price and below. You're not going to get too much apart from ball recoveries, but he can score the occasional goal. Ake or Diaz? Ake. I think just because of his price. Yeah, Modric has to be a shout, but like I said, it's just kind of difficult for me to include all these options. I can only put 4, unfortunately. The same goes for some of the image polls I do on the community tab. I'd like to put more options sometimes, but I just can't. Madrid midfielder, Chelsea not in good form. Yeah, Rodrigo's really tempted me, I can't lie. The big issue with him is he going to start or not? And that isn't going to be nailed on. Rodrigo or Modric? If they both start, then Rodrigo. Modric is going to start. With Rodrigo, that's a bit, kind of up in the air, let's say. Thoughts on Valverde? He's not nailed on to start as well. It's going to be between him and Rodrigo to start. So yeah, I'm not too sure. I'd rather go for Rodrigo, personally, or Modric. 6 out, everyone else is perfect. Limitless or wildcard, neither. I mean, you could just use the wildcard, I think. I mean, it just depends on your team situation, because when are you going to plan to use the other chip as well? I don't like using the wildcard in match day 10 or in the second leg of each round, so that's something else to think about. But yeah, I'd probably use a chip right now in your situation, instead of just leaving things as they are. Militao or Ruben Diaz? Militao. Kimmich to Grealish or Otamendi to Antonio Silva? Otamendi to Antonio Silva. Best 4.5 million defender? Probably Nathan Ake or Antonio Silva. And if I had to pick one, Antonio Silva. So I use Limitless this week as I have 7 out. Then when should I play Wildcard? Probably a match day 11, ideally. So the first leg of the semi-finals. My clock is having issues, says Kat. Your clock is having issues. Oh, wow. Well, I'm having internet issues, unfortunately, here. Can you do a budget wildcard that everyone can afford? I mean, it's all covered in the video in terms of like things for people who can't, afford what I did. I mean, instead of Leroy Sané, for example, you could easily just go to Grealish, and I think that just solves your issue. I think you could easily afford that because you don't want to sacrifice too much from what I mentioned. So yeah, I think Sané downgraded to Grealish or Rodrigo, and that solves your issue. Why have you got no Milan players? Because I just don't think they're a priority, to be honest. I mean, I actually think AC Milan could have the edge, at least in the home leg, but I've got other plans. I think Real Madrid, Man City have high ceilings, Benfica as well, especially in the first leg. And let's not forget how good Napoli are. I think part of why Napoli lost, apart from missing out on Osimhen, is the fact that they've already kind of won the league. They've pretty much got one hand on the trophy. So I just don't think the motivation levels were the same. AC Milan still have something to play for. Let's also think about the other results Milan have had. They drew 0-0 in their recent home game against a very poor team. So I wouldn't say a win is absolutely locked in just because of one result. Forward under 8.1 million. That is a tough one. Forward under 8.1 million. Yeah, most of the good ones are over that threshold. But yeah, I'd probably look at Raspadori or Edin Dzeko. I think Raspadori, but he's not guaranteed to start. That's the problem with him. Captain, Joao Mario or Haaland? I'd go for Haaland, yeah. Osimhen likely to be back the second leg? I think so. Militao or Carvajal? Militao for sure. And that also answers Elias's question. Replacement for Cancelo? I don't know who you have already, so it's difficult for me to say, but the priority for me would be a Benfica or Madrid defender this week. Sell Chilwell or Antonio Silva? Chilwell, definitely. Any two out of Rudiger, Militao, Ake and Diaz? It would be Militao and Ake, but all of them are good options. For Madrid assets, Benzema, Vinicius Jr., Courtois and Militao. Yeah, with Osimhen, it's kind of difficult. I've tried to find official news, but from some outlets, I've seen that he's not in the squad. And he's also been training in isolation, so it doesn't look like he's going to start, regardless of what happens. Why Gnabry over Sané? Typically, I prefer Sané, but the reason why I might give Gnabry the edge is because he's been playing out of position as a number 9 in recent games. Sané, Gnabry, and Grealish or Coman and KDB? Usually I'd say Sané, but I think right now it's a tough one. I have to say it's 50-50. The other one is a bit simpler for me. I'd go for KDB. Yeah, I'd say KDB and Coman overall is better. Best captain for today, Haaland or Joao Mario for me. And another option to consider is Gonzalo Ramos. Hey Dylan, planning to take a -4 today. Wondering between De Bruyne and Grealish or De Bruyne and Coman. I'd probably go for Grealish and De Bruyne, but Coman's not a bad choice. So that would be my take on it, Ventislav. Take it for Ake. There's no reason to do that. It won't pay off, most likely. There's literally a 5% chance, you could say, of that paying off. It's really unlikely. I wouldn't do that. Any change to your Limitless team? Yeah, I think Mane. He wouldn't be in it, of course. I'd probably go to one of Rodrigo, Grealish, or one of the Bayern Munich midfielders like Gnabry or Sané. I think the rest would stay relatively the same. And as I discussed in that video, if Osimhen is out, which it looks like he is, I'd go for Gonzalo Ramos. So yeah, the rest would be pretty much the same. Rafael Leao or Raspadori? Probably Rafael Leao. Oh yeah, thank you for reminding me, actually, my predictions. I actually completely forgot about that. Let me, so a big shout out to you. Okay, I haven't been able to get this. Let me load this up. So we've got, I need to be careful because I'm going to forget before the deadline with these different time zones. So I'm going to lock in my transfers fairly soon, but I'm a bit conflicted about the midfielder, to be honest. I've got a really good feeling about the likes of Rodrigo if he does start, but he is a big risk. That's something I do recognize. So let's go to Predictor. I don't think I've set my predictions at all, have I? No, I haven't. So thank you. Big shout out. Let me shout you out in terms of the name. Who was it that mentioned it? Yeah, Ellis. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. So predictions today. That's a tough game to predict. I might go for a 3-2 Man City. First team to score, Man City. Player of the match. That'll be a bit trickier. I'm feeling someone like Grealish or Haaland if Man City end up winning. Just go for Erling Haaland, the robot. Benfica, Inter Milan. I might go for a 2-0 Benfica. Although I'm a bit conflicted about that one. Might even put the Joker on it. Actually, you know what? Looking at this, I think the Joker, or I think now it's called the 2x booster, will be on either the Benfica or Madrid result. That's the one I'm most confident about. So yeah, that's going to be a tricky one. Let's put Real Madrid. I can't lie, I might even put a 3-0 here for Real Madrid. I know they've never beaten Chelsea at home, but I think that will change this time round with the way both teams are at. I think man of the match Benzema will play the booster. Obviously, I could change this anyway, but yeah, let's come on, load it up, mate. Thank you very much. Yeah, so then first team to score Benfica, of course. Player of the match, I might go for João Mario or Gonzalo Ramos. Let's go for João Mario. And then for AC Milan, by the way, yeah, you probably can't see anything. Let me just change the screen just so you can see all of my predictions. So yeah, AC Milan versus Napoli. I might even give Milan the edge here, but I think both teams score. That's going to be a tricky one. That's a really tough game to call. I might change it, but right now I'm going to go for AC Milan. And I'm going to go for him. And we'll go, yeah, I think Rafael Leao will be the one to go for. Might change that though, because like I said, Napoli are the better team. So those are my predictions currently. The ones I'm most confident about are Benfica and Madrid. But even then, I might change the score a little bit, like 2-1, maybe 1-0 Benfica. And also in the case of Madrid, maybe 3-1. How many transfers do we get in the next game week? So we've got 5 now, and you get 3 in the second leg. Also Musiala, not my favourite Bayern Munich midfielder. I think he's a quality prospect, but I'd rather go for Gnabry, Coman, and Leroy Sané. Yeah, of course, you could be right, but I think when we look at Benfica's record at home, they've only lost to Porto. They drew to PSG. They've also got some other good results there. I think, yeah, apart from the defeat against Porto, I think they're unbeaten all season. And Inter Milan have been very shocking recently. I'd probably give Benfica the edge. Yeah, 2 Madrid defenders. It's simple, mate. Rudiger and Militao. Sané replacement. I don't think you need to replace Sané, but if you want to replace him, Rodrigo or Grealish could be pretty good. Sell Mahrez for a -4. I think it's worth it for certain players like De Bruyne, maybe even Grealish, but I'm not a big fan of hits in UCL Fantasy. Militao, Rudiger, Militao. Goretzka or Kimmich? Probably Goretzka. Yeah, Sebastian, I'd probably... Your team's good. Let me put it that way. I think the big concern for you is Mahrez and Osimhen. The rest is fine. So yeah, if you've already made transfers and you've only got 1 free available, you could just wildcard and prevent you from taking hits. And you could also, in that case, then bolster your goalkeepers, maybe go for Courtois and Vlachodimos, you know. So I'd probably wildcard in your situation, Sebastian. But if you don't, then I probably would sell Mahrez and I would go to... I would even consider someone like Rodrigo or Grealish, I think. Best Inter Milan defender, Darmian for me. Bought Mane, now he isn't starting. Do you think I should sell him for Grealish for a -4? Yeah, and that's why I always say to people, especially for games on the Tuesday, don't make early transfers. Wait until the lineups, and then you can obviously make more informed decisions. Why not Carvajal? Just because Militao and Rudiger are more nailed on. Carvajal hasn't been starting every single game, and there could be rotation there with Nacho, for example. And Carvalho's been pretty poor in recent games. So that's why I haven't mentioned him. He's not bad. I just prefer others. Would you take a hit for Courtois? No. I don't think hits are worth it for goalkeepers, especially in UCL Fantasy. Have kept on Courtois? No, I don't think I'd do that. I don't think selling a goalkeeper is worth it for a hit. I think for this match day, a double up in Madrid defense is the best thing. But in the long term, it might not be. Yeah, I think so as well, Sebastian. I appreciate that. Just because you've already used transfers doesn't mean you can't wildcard now, because you're literally preventing hits, and you can also make other moves that you wouldn't have done otherwise without the wildcard, and you could gain even more points from it. So I think the wildcard's best in your situation. Yeah, look, this is the thing. It's tough because Man City defensively, they've been pretty good recently, and also let's not forget Bayern Munich haven't conceded a single goal in the Champions League. So yeah, you could be right. I think that's the result I'm most likely going to change. I might even put 2-1. Or a 1-1 or something like that. What's your bracket predictor looking like? I don't think I've done it. That's a good question. I don't think I've done it. So let's bring that up now and see. But I don't think I've done that either. But yeah, very soon I'm going to lock in my transfers. The last thing I you know, I don't want to jinx it, but imagine a power cut, I can't even make my transfers and it all goes tits up. So yeah, just in case, I'm literally going to lock in my transfers very soon. So let's go here to the bracket. All right, so let's see. I think it started from the round of 16, so I might be a bit late to the party here. Yeah, it's going to take ages to load. Yeah, I think Man City buying, I think looking at it a bit more realistically, might be a 2-1. Yeah, it's kind of typical for me, by the way, to change a result and then my original prediction ends up being true. So I kind of overthink that a little bit too much. So yeah, we're going to go for Madrid. That's a tough one. Bayern Munich, Man City is the one I'm most least confident about. So I think I'm going to go for something like that. We're going to go for Napoli to reach the final. I'm going to stick with my original prediction. Then I'm going to go for Madrid. And then Real Madrid were the Champions League winners. Yeah, go something like that. Can I change it? Yeah, I still can change it. I think that's what I'd go for. Something like that. It could easily be Benfica or Milan reaching the other final, and it could be Man City beating Bayern Munich. I mean, there's a lot of tough games to call, but something like that I think is what I'd predict for the Champions League. All right, so let's now go back to my team, and let's lock in some transfers. So if we look at the poll, Grealish is leading 45%. Very interesting stuff. I'm actually going to do a bit of research now very quickly on Rodrigo in terms of, you know, the murmurings about him starting or not. Like Tech mentioned, there are some murmurings of him starting, but yeah, I'm just not too sure. If he is going to start, I'd probably go for him, actually, as a one-week punt at least. But yeah, I'm a bit unsure about his starting prospects. Yeah. It'd be great to see some predicted lineups from reliable sources. I'm not so sure. Let me see if the UEFA website has something quickly. They sometimes provide some, you know, predicted lineups from newspapers and stuff, but yeah, I'm not so sure if they'll have one for tomorrow's matches, unfortunately. Not at this stage, anyway. Yeah, I'm not so sure about Rodrigo starting. That's my big concern. Let's see. Any newspapers, any predicted lineups? Nope. None at all, which is a bit concerning, a bit annoying. All right, going to go back to your questions, so don't you worry. Onana or Vlachodimos? Vlachodimos. Good bet is to keyword search on Twitter. Yeah, that's what I've done, but still nothing. How comes Ramos over Silva? He's been in better form in the Portuguese league recently, and I also just back him to score more goals in general, despite Silva scoring more points in UCL Fantasy so far. The website has it, says rock and roll. I'll check it out, but I didn't see it when I went through it. Let's see. Maybe then again, I'm kind of whizzing through it. Okay. They've got like 10 million photos and none of them is the predictor or the predicted lineups, which is a bit annoying. Yeah, no, I don't see the lineups. Nope. No, it's not there whatsoever. So I'm just going to forget about that anyway. Rodrigo would be my kind of punt. It could just be another Mahrez. Is Osimhen okay to start? It doesn't look like it. No. Onana or Vlachodimos, we just covered it. Silva or Ramos, I'd go for Ramos. Do the 5 transfers today, combined with a free layer after using Limitless. Any transfer you make before using the Limitless or the wildcard will be cancelled, so they won't carry through after. The same goes for FPL and the wildcard and free hit. KDB or Grealish, KDB. Tengo a Meret y Kepa en mi equipo. ¿A quién me recomiendas fichar? Courtois o Vlachodimos. Así que yo vendería a Kepa y pondría a Vlachodimos. Porque también si vos compras a Courtois y tienes a Meret, los dos juegan el mismo día, entonces vale la pena comprar a Vlachodimos, en mi opinión. I just looked at the Champions League app and the predicted lineup says Rodrigo benched. Thank you for that. I actually wasn't aware. Oh, I didn't check the app. I checked the website. That's probably why I didn't see it. Yeah, we checked the lineups already, Clifford. Sane or Grealish? Usually I'd say Sane, but in this leg, I'd probably give Grealish the edge. If we use 3 out of 5 transfers today, does it make sense to save them for tomorrow to see who's starting? You can't do that. So in the World Cup Fantasy, you could do something like that, and you can make transfers throughout the week. In UCL Fantasy, you have to make all your transfers before the deadline, because if you decide to make transfers tomorrow, they will be for Matchday 10, the following deadline, and you'd be using 2 of your free transfers, Marcus, so that wouldn't work. take a hit for Osimhen to let out. I don't think that's a bad idea. He did really well. He scored a brace a week ago. So I don't think it's a bad idea. Sell James for -4. I don't like taking hits for defenders, but I would sell James if you could. And if you're going to a defender like, let's say, Militao, it could be worth it, but generally I'd rather take a hit for a midfielder or attacker. I've ultimately suspended. Should I transfer him out for a bit? Or for a hit? Yes. I think it could be worth taking him out. For a hit is where the issue lies. I think if you already got 14 other players in your squad that are available, I'd probably keep. Plus, Gnabry scored with 4 minutes played last time out. I might use my fifth on Clement to Gnabry, to be honest. The position change seems like a good chance to have some fun. Yeah, no, that's completely, understandable. Would you captain Ramos? I think I'm going to captain Haaland, but I'm not against captaining Gonzalo Ramos or João Mario. They're my top three for today. Haaland, Gonzalo Ramos, and João Mario. I think it's very close to separate all three of them. Best Madrid defender? I'd say Militao or Rudiger. Thank you, D. Leao or Silva? I'd go for Silva. Two best goalkeepers on the wildcard. It's all covered in the video, but I'd probably go for Courtois and Vlachodimos. Hey, Dylan, who to start out of Vlachodimos and Ederson? I'd go for Vlachodimos. Yeah, that is true. Literally every single day we discovered a new loophole. Good times. Ramos or Mario as captain? In my video, I discussed it, and I said João Mario would be my preference, but I don't think Gonzalo Ramos is too far behind. Let's put it that way. I already have 4 Benfica players, so should I buy Ramos or Leao? Still buy Ramos. I know why you're kind of hesitant about it, but I'd still go for Ramos. Who should I put instead of Osimhen? Gonzalo Ramos for me. Rodrigo or Grealish? If Rodrigo starts, I think he's better, but I'm not so sure if he will. So in that case, I'm going to go for Grealish and go a bit safe. Yeah, Kimmich's not bad. He's just not my favourite. Thank you, Abram. Happy Easter to you as well. Mara's replacement. I mean, I think the obvious ones would be De Bruyne, João Mario, Kvaratskhelia, and Vinicius if you don't have them already. But apart from those four, I'm mainly looking at Grealish, Gnabry, and probably Rodrigo as my replacement. Yeah, so I'm going to now lock in my transfers, I think. I'm going to buy Gonzalo Ramos for Osimhen, Benzema in for Mbappe, De Bruyne for Salah, Eder Militao in for Otamendi, and my fifth transfer will be Mahrez out, and now is the time to confirm my final transfer. And looking at the list, it is tricky. It is very tricky to decide that fifth midfielder. I think I might end up going for someone from the games today. So Bayern Munich versus City. It is a tough one. Yeah, I think that's kind of the biggest question for all of us this week. Serge Gnabry. Could be fantastic. Could be fantastic. I think his minutes in recent games have been a bit of a concern, as you can see here. But, yeah, that is a really tough one to call. Who to take out from Choupo-Moting versus Osimhen? Choupo-Moting. He'd be the one to sell. Best Madrid defender? Militao. Antonio Silva, Militao? Probably Militao. I like both, though. Omen, yeah, he's not a bad shout either. He's very underrated. Yeah. There's no reason to go for Mane because he's benched. It makes no sense to go for him. Ake or Rudiger? Rudiger. Yeah, I think Osimhen will be available for Matchday 10, but not for this one. I think Gnabry will be on penalties this game. He could be. Could also be Müller. He used to be the penalty taker for Bayern. I'm not so sure if that's still the case, but yeah, you could be right. I have Merit, Lorenzo, Darmian, double Benfica defense, and I need to sell Diogo Costa. Is it worth selling him to Onana or Courtois and bench Merit tomorrow? Or just Darmian to Militao? Darmian to Militao, Sadindra. I wouldn't do that. Ori says Mara's injured. No, just Pep rotation, which, we shouldn't be surprised by. He got subbed off at 56 minutes against Southampton over the weekend. Didn't start against Leipzig, so it shouldn't really surprise us. Hola, Domenico. Saludos. My big dilemma is my fifth change. Yeah, same here. Mahrez or Onana. I'd keep Onana and sell Mahrez. I understand why you'd want to do that, but probably sell Mahrez. I think there's a higher upside to that move. Instead of Koeman, who from Bayern? For me, Gnabry or Sane would be the ones. Yeah, Gnabry or Sane. I think Gnabry, Koeman, and Sane are all good choices. I agree. It's a question of nailing the right one. And 50-50 decisions haven't been my forte recently. Let's put it that way. Benfica player to replace Mahrez, apart from João Mario. I'm not a big fan of the other Benfica midfielders necessarily. Florentino's a decent budget option, but I'm not so sure if I'd replace Mars with him. So yeah, apart from João Mario, you could consider Neres, I guess, but not really ideal. Sane or KDB? KDB. Rafa Silva, Sane, Ramos, Gnabry, or Koeman? I would go for Ramos, Gnabry, but all of them are fine. Valverde to Grealish is worth it? I think so. Good luck to you, Zorsadindra. And yeah, let's wait and see. It should be a great game of football. I'm going Gnabry, Dylan, 2% differential plus our position plus Chupo out injured. Only Müller can replace him 70 plus minutes. Feel like taking a punt. Yeah, that's understandable. And of course, you would know him maybe better than I do watching the Bundesliga. Yeah, you could be right. Why don't you consider going another Napoli midfielder? Because I've already got plenty of Napoli players. They lost 4-0 the last time they played AC Milan. But also, just for this leg specifically, I'd rather take a punt on a Bayern, Man City, or Madrid midfielder. Simple as that. Yeah, damn Pep. Let's just put it that way. Nacho in, Vlachodimos in for Onana or Merit and take a hit. Vlachodimos in for Onana. And also, you have to think about the goalkeepers and which days they play on, because if you get two goalkeepers to play on the same day, that is certainly not ideal. Just change that. All right, what else do we have? Why Militao over Rudiger? We've covered that already. Sorry, but I don't want to cover that again. Prefer Sane to Grealish overall, but thinking maybe best to attack home fixture. I completely agree, Marco. You've kind of hit the nail on the head there. Yeah, Rafa is a good pick. I just prefer Gonzalo Ramos. It could go either way. Bastoni or Militao? Militao. Ake or Rudiger? Rudiger. Save wildcard? Depends. How many transfers you made? How many moves are you looking to make? It all depends on that. Any questions that are spammed are not going to be answered, just to let you know, so just think twice before you spam. Keep Mahrez or sell for a -4? I'd probably sell for a -4 in this case, but you don't have to. Which defender should I target? I need to get rid of my BVB guys and Cancelo. I would target Real Madrid and Benfica defenders this week. So Militao, Antonio Silva, Grimaldo, and Rudiger would be the main ones. Yeah, Raspadori punt isn't a bad idea. I just prefer Gonzalo Ramos or Rafa Silva, as well as Rafael Leao. Yep, he is a good pick. Son is in the limitless squad. Who do I take him out for? Yeah, he's still a fine option, you know, on the limitless, but you could go for Grealish or Rodrigo instead. Grealish for Koeman, need to take a hit though. I wouldn't do that. No, not for a hit. At the moment, I'm currently leaning towards Grealish, but I don't know. It's kind of a tricky one with Gnabry because I know what he's capable of. Why having players from City if you think Bayern will go through? Well, because, yeah, a team can go through, but that doesn't mean they're going to win both legs. And I think Man City will win today's game. It's as simple as that. Top 3 Real Madrid players. Benzema, Vinicius Jr. and Militao. Top 3 captaincy picks for today. It would be Haaland, João Mario, Gonzalo Ramos. Maybe in that order, but I'm still reconsidering that. Think to go help our 5th transfer, we can judge whether we prefer triple Real Madrid attack versus Chelsea or City versus Bayern, and therefore Rodrigo maybe looks better. No, I agree. The problem with Rodrigo that I have is he going to start? And that's just something I'm not too sure about. Do you think Osimhen can come back in the next match? He can, but I think most likely we're going to see him in Matchday 10, not Matchday 9. Why Ramos not Leao? High ceiling, easier fixture. Get Grealish or Gnabry and downgrade Ruben to Stones. I definitely wouldn't do Ruben Diaz to Stones for a hit, Abraham. Grealish or Gnabry? At the moment, I'm leaning towards Grealish, but it could go either way. Mario or Haaland as captain? I'm currently going for Haaland, but I'm a bit unsure. Yeah, I think Theo is the best AC Milan asset in general, alongside Rafael Leao. I'm not so sure if I'd buy him this week, though. If I had Theo, I'd keep him, though. Ramos or Rafa Silva? Ramos. Napoli or Madrid defense? This week, Madrid defense. Ultimately to Antonio Silva or Diogo Costa to Courtois for a -4, or play with 13 players this week. I just play with 13 players, Zodiac, but if I had to pick a hit to take, it'd be ultimately to Antonio Silva. I don't think it's worth it, though. Best Mahrez replacement? I think the 4 midfielders you can see on screen, Vinicius, Kvaratskhelia, João Mario, and Kevin De Bruyne, would be the best ones. If you've already got them, then it's a case of Rodrigo, Grealish, or Gnabry. Transfers confirmed. I've risked it and gone sideways with Koeman to Gnabry. Good luck, Goldhead. It looks fine. I really like that move. Coman could backfire because we have seen what he can do in these really important games for Bayern Munich over the years. But yeah, I think it should pay off. Hopefully it does. Aaron says, replace Onana to Vlachodimos for -4. No chance. Let's put it this way. Benfica could keep a clean sheet, but even if Inter Milan concede, which is quite likely, Onana can get 3, 4. I wouldn't even be surprised if he got 5 points with the saves he makes. And you'd pretty much need Vlachodimos to make some save points, most likely to make that -4 hit pay off. So I wouldn't take a -4 hit for a goalkeeper. I just don't think it's worth it. Benfica or Inter defense, I prefer Benfica, especially at home. Sane, Gnabry or Grealish? Probably Grealish. It's between him and Gnabry. That's the last move I need to decide on. I'm still in two minds about it. Captain Gonzalo or Erling? Gonzalo has the easier fixture, but Haaland is obviously a different quality of player. That is the big question. Yeah, that's just far too much spamming. Goodbye. Rudiger or Militao? Militao, but both are fine. You can't go wrong with either. Why don't you choose Sane? I could, but he's just not in my list of priorities at the moment. He's been playing pretty well under Thomas Tuchel so far, but yeah, I wouldn't say he's a standout at the moment. Grealish or Gnabry? Probably Grealish. If I had to pick one, probably Grealish, but I might end up just going for Gnabry to diversify my midfield. That's as simple as that. What is the best cheap option for a defender? I'd say Antonio Silva. Haaland has scored 5 goals in 7 games versus Bayern in Bundesliga. He's also lost all 7 games. So yeah, he could score a goal, but just get 6 points, which is quite possible. Also Musiala, not my favourite Bayern Munich midfielder. He would be at the lower end of, kind of my priorities. Leao or Ramos? Ramos. Best Bayern defender? De Ligt at the moment. Onana versus Vlachodimos versus Merit. Onana is generally the better option because of saves, but Vlachodimos for me this week is the one that takes the cake. Captain Benzema or Vinicius Jr. for tomorrow. I'm currently going for Benzema. It's all covered in my videos. Nothing wrong with going for Vinicius though. Why is everyone using all their transfers? Isn't it smart saving some for next week? You can't roll transfers over. That's why people are using all of them, because you can't roll them over. And let's say, for example, you use 4 this week and don't use the 5th one. Doesn't mean you're going to have an extra one next week. That doesn't happen. Musiala or Gnabry? I'd go for Gnabry. Jude replacement? I don't know who you have. You can see the 4 midfielders that I have on screen. They would be the ones I recommend the most. I disagree. I don't think Sane really goes. A few years ago, I think it was Nagelsmann's first season. It might have been in the last campaign, actually. Sane was probably Bayern's best player in the knockout stages. I'd disagree with that. Ramos or Silva? Ramos. Yeah, Silva is okay. -4 to remove Osimhen? I probably would. You don't have to, though. I still have the Limitless. When would you use it if you were me? If you're not entirely happy with your team this week, I'd use it now. Otherwise, I'd look to use it in Matchday 10 in the second leg. Will there be a subs window? Yes, there will. There will. Coman or Grealish? I would go for Grealish. Lautaro Martinez has been in awful form recently. I wouldn't go for him. He's been missing sitters for both club and country. He's just not worth going for, in my opinion. So we've got over 500 people watching. These streams are always busy. We've only got 100 likes though, so let's keep on smashing the like button. Let's try to get this stream to over 200 likes. We could definitely do that. So if we've answered your question, if you're finding this enjoyable, then be sure to keep racking up the likes because it helps us out in the algorithm and we can make some more streams in the future for UCL Fantasy and some more videos too. Best mid for 9.6 million and below, probably Gnabry or Sane. It's between those two and Grealish for me. Yeah, Luis, trying to spam the question. It's kind of getting annoying. What cheap midfielder can I use? Cheap midfielder, Rodrigo would be up there, or Grealish. If you're talking about even cheaper, then maybe Florentino Rodri will do the trick for you. Goretzka or Kimmich? Probably Kimmich. I mean, it's quite a close one. DeMarco or Carvajal? Already have Militao. Carvajal still, but I don't think he's necessarily a nailed-on player. Davis or Militao? Militao. Yeah, I might go for a Bayern attacker. I think maybe Gnabry will be the one. I can understand your concern. Why don't I prefer Carvajal? Because he's not as nailed as Militao or Rudiger. And also for ball recoveries, he's inferior. He's also been in pretty poor form. I personally want to go for Gnabry over Grealish now since he's playing as a striker and he did score a goal against PSG in 4 minutes. That is true. That is true. It's just my big concern with Gnabry is that his minutes in recent games have been very inconsistent, but I think he will get at least 60, which should be enough. Gnabry, Sane, Rodrigo, and Grealish domain for mid differentials. Yeah, I'd say Gnabry, Rodrigo, and Grealish. Rodrigo and Gnabry would be very differential, I think. So if we look at the poll, we've had over 800 votes, almost 900 at this point. Almost half of you have gone for Grealish, Sane second, Gnabry third, and Rodrigo fourth. Oddly enough, the two at the bottom are the ones I'm most tempted by. Of and Olivier Giroud, decent, but I just rather would go for Rafael Leao. Davis or Rudiger? Rudiger. We've covered that already. Rumours that Kvaratskhelia will be playing false nine with Simeone, Osimhen being injured and Raspadori still back to personal training. Yeah, that is a possibility. It could also be Lozano. I think, yeah, Kvaratskhelia as the false nine is probably a bit more likely. Should I do Militao and Rudiger, but Grealish or Ake, Militao and Gnabry? Wait, should I do Militao and Rudiger, but Grealish or Ake, Militao and Gnabry? I don't understand the question, to be honest. I'm sorry. Third Benfica or first City defender? This week, probably a third Benfica defender. Long term, though, of course, you'd rather diversify it. Why captain Benzema tonight? Captain a player that plays today. So go for Haaland or a Benfica forward, I'd say. In the counter-attack, who do you likely see scoring for Bayern? For me, it would be Sane or Gnabry, with Gnabry being the most likely. Edison, ¿a Courtois vale la pena por un -4? No, no me gusta tomar un -4 por un arquero. Para mí no vale la pena. Thank you very much, I appreciate it. Hi Dylan, hope you're well. Would you go with Antonio Silva, Gnabry, or Ake and Grealish? I would go for Antonio Silva and Gnabry, but both duos are fine. You can't go wrong with either. Also with Cancelo on the bench. His minutes have been inconsistent for a while now. With Portugal got dropped, with Man City got dropped, and now with Bayern Munich under several managers. He's just not trusted, and maybe his attitude is a problem. We just don't know. Best City defender. I like Stones a lot, but my issue with him is minutes, and we saw it at the weekend as well. So I'd probably say Ruben Dias or Ake, and I'm going for Ake personally because he's just cheaper. If I don't buy him in right now, it will probably be a matchday 10, if anything, or matchday 11. Don't have money for Benzema, Leao or Raspadori. I would go for Rafael Leao. Valverde or Gnabry? Definitely Gnabry. Yeah, Thorsten Raspadori. He's still not guaranteed to start though. As Tech said, he hasn't been training fully. He hasn't been training with a full squad because he's had an issue himself. So it could be Kvaratskhelia or Hirving Lozano playing as the false nine. So yeah, I wouldn't go for him necessarily. I'd rather just go for Kvaratskhelia and defenders and merit, if anything. More important to have Benzema or De Bruyne? Benzema. Thank you, Troma. I mean, my English is way better than my Spanish, to be honest. My Spanish isn't as good as I'd like. I do have dual nationality, that is true, yeah. Will Rudiger start tomorrow? Yeah, I see no reason why I wouldn't. I'm going for Militao, though, personally, as you can see. So I'm going to lock in my transfers right now. I also already uploaded my transfer plans to channel members and patrons several hours ago. But now I'm going to confirm my fifth one. I think I'm going to go for this. If I knew Rodrigo was starting tomorrow, he would be coming in. But because I'm a bit unsure about that, I'm going to go for someone from today's games. And the way it's looking like, I'm going to go for a Bayern Munich attacker. And it looks like Gnabry will be coming in for me. His ownership is around 2%. It will probably be 3-4% by the time we get to the deadline. But yeah, I think Gnabry coming in could be the way to go. I have that Bayern Munich cover in general because I don't have any Bayern Munich players, which seems crazy, by the way. Remember, they haven't conceded a single goal in the Champions League this season so far, and they've been the best team so far in this competition, it has to be said. So yeah, I think Gnabry will be coming in, and then maybe in the future, I'll look to bring in a Bayern Munich defender, and if they have a good chance of going through, I could even add a third or fourth Bayern Munich player too. So I think this is the way I'm going to go, and I think this is looking very solid. I've also got 1.7 million left in the bank, with Gnabry only being 8.9 million in terms of price, so I'm very happy with it. If Morris started, I would have kept him, and it would have been Darmian making way for Nathan Ake, or maybe someone else entirely. But I think I'm very happy with these transfers, and I'm going to lock them in very soon. Worth downgrading Gonzalo Ramos for Rafa Silva to get Grealish Coman? Yes. I think it is worth it. Gnabry plus Carvajal or Grealish plus Militao? Good question. I'd probably go for Grealish and Militao because I'm not entirely sure if Carvalho starts, and I also think Militao is a better option. It could go either way though, Bestie. And if you prefer Gnabry and you think Carvalho will start, then just go for that. I think it's really close. No, I don't think Osimhen will play. When would you use your wildcard? If it was me, my own team, it would be now. I've always said Matchday 9 or 11 is the best time to use it in the knockout stages. Would you get Ake or Stones? Probably Ake. Gnabry or KDB? I would go for Kevin De Bruyne. I can't afford Gnabry, says Marcus. That's fair enough. I'd probably go for maybe Rodrigo instead, or Grealish. Best under 8 million striker? Probably Raspadori or Dzeko. Is Valverde playing? I'm not sure. It could be between him and Rodrigo as the right winger. Madrid could even change formation. We just don't know yet. But my hunch is that Valverde will play and Rodrigo will come off the bench. But let's wait and see. Because I don't think Rodrigo starts, I'd say Grealish. Otherwise, it's Rodrigo. Are Asensio and Valverde the main threats to Rodrigo for starts? I'd say so, especially Valverde. He's the main one. Thank you, FPL Hawk. And maybe once we get to 200, we can push on to even more. Why is Carvalho not sure? I mean, I'll just demonstrate it on stream just because I'm seeing a lot of questions about Carvalho and, people are kind of wondering why I'm so, kind of cautious with him. So if we check his recent minutes using the UCL Fantasy website. So if you look here, got 90 minutes against Espanyol, 90 minutes against Barcelona, didn't play in the following game. Then he got 90 minutes against Barcelona again, and then didn't play against Villarreal. So it's kind of stop and start. I think he will play in the Champions League. Let me make that clear. But I wouldn't expect him or, I wouldn't be confident in him starting every single Champions League game from now until the end of the season. But do I think he starts here tomorrow? Yeah, I think he does. He's also been very poor in recent games. Thoughts on Benfica Napoli double defense? Benfica I like this week. Napoli defense, no. They conceded 4 goals to Milan in the last game. I think they'll concede here. So I wouldn't go for a double up in Napoli defense if you can. Yeah, like I said, I think Valverde will play. There's still a chance, I think, of Rodrigo starting, but I would give Valverde the edge for sure. How about Simeone? He's injured. So if you want a Osimhen replacement, it's Raspadori. Simeone's out, just like Osimhen, he's confirmed out. Raspadori will probably be on the bench, but he's got the best chance of starting from the strikers. Courtois or Merit? Courtois. Ramos or Mario, whom to captain? Close. I've usually said João Mario, but I'm very tempted by Ramos. If I had to pick one, it'd be Mario, but it could go either way. Sane will play 90 minutes, probably, and Gnabry 60 minutes. Yeah, I think in terms of minutes, Sane is a bit safer. And generally, he's the better UCL fantasy asset. Also facing his old club, he might have a score to settle, you could say. He might have a bit more motivation. You typically see this with some players, but yeah, I just like Gnabry's low ownership and his out-of-position nature. But, like I said, if I knew he was going to start, he would be the one coming in. Let's see what else we have. With the information you got by now, would you change some of the players you mentioned in the wildcard video? Yeah, and we've covered it already. So, in the wildcard video, I think what I'd change is Sane out for someone like Grealish. Yeah, I think Grealish or Gnabry. I think the rest will stay the same. Yeah, Osimhen out for Gonzalo Ramos as well. The rest would pretty much stay the same, I think. Yeah. Yeah, Sebastian, that looks pretty good. Is there anything I'd change with your wildcard team? Not really, to be honest. I think maybe your goalkeepers. I'm not sure what money you have in the bank, Sebastian, but my ideal goalkeepers this week would be Courtois and Vlachodimos. Even though long-term you could argue Onana and Merit are good, but if they both go through to the next round, Inter Milan will face Napoli, so that could be an issue anyway in Matchday 10. So, yeah, I think the goalkeepers is the only thing I'd change, potentially. Madrid defender or second Benfica defender? Madrid defender. Should I keep Koeman or get Sane? I'd keep Koeman. Courtois to Merit to afford Gnabry? Yeah, I think that's fine, but if I'm being honest, Jamie, I think Napoli concede and Madrid keep a clean sheet. Also, one buying defender as it's buying away. I don't mind having one buying defender because they've conceded 0 goals this season in the Champions League, but I think they'll concede today. Davis or Carvalho? Carvalho. Dylan, tengo 2 porteros, Vlachodimos y Onana. No sé si usar mi último cambio para tener a Courtois o cambiar el Osimhen por otro delantero. Entiendo tu dilema, pero para mí vale la pena vender a Osimhen para un delantero como Gonzalo Ramos, puede ser también Rafa Silva o Rafael Leao. Así que yo vendería a Osimhen. Neres o Raspadori. probably Neres out of those two, but I prefer Rafa Silva and Gonzalo Ramos. No, not a major difference really, Alex. I just prefer Militao a little bit more for his recent form. He's been more nailed on as well. Yeah, sorry, yeah, Bayern have conceded twice, that is true, but they've got the most clean sheets. That is true. 2 Benfica defenders and 2 Real Madrid defenders will sneak in Ake in the mix. No, 2 Benfica Madrid, I think, this week, yeah. Replace Darmian to top defender. No, I just keep Darmian. Yeah, I think it's worth it. Ruben Dias or Ake? Ake, but if you can afford it and it won't impact your future transfer plans, Dias is slightly safer, so to speak. Looking at any differential captains, yeah, João Mario or Gonzalo Ramos is what I'm looking at. So I think I'm going to log this in, by the way. Yeah, having no Bayern Munich players at all would be a bit worrying. So I think I'm going to go for this. Gnabry in, along with De Bruyne, Benzema, Gonzalo Ramos, and Eder Militao. I've got 1.7 million left in the bank. And just to recap, I'm going to be selling Osimhen, who's suspended, Mbappe and Salah, who are eliminated, Mahrez, who's benched, and Osimhen, who most likely will be out tomorrow and not in the squad. So yeah, I'm going to stick with this, and I think that is pretty much it. Just to double check, see the lineups again. Once again, yeah, don't do that. I hate when the UEFA website puts a video up and then it copyrights me. Yeah, I think this is what I'm going to go for. Looking at these lineups one more time just to make sure. I'm kind of meticulous when it comes to this sort of thing. Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with this. Yeah, that's all done. All right, so I'm going to lock in my transfers right now. So as you can see here, Osimhen out for Gonzalo Ramos, Mahrez out for Gnabry, Mbappe to Benzema, Salah to De Bruyne, and Otamendi to Militao. That's it. Let's confirm. And that's it. It's all done. And now let's just sort out the bench. We don't want to have De Bruyne there on the bench. Remember, if you have players playing on the Tuesday, put them in your starting 11. Do not bench them. It makes no sense whatsoever. And captain someone who plays today. My advice would be to captain one of Haaland, Gonzalo Ramos, or João Mario if you can. I think they're the 3 best players to captain today. So yeah, De Bruyne will be coming in probably for Di Lorenzo. It doesn't really matter anyway. And then yeah, let's do that. Doesn't really matter. We'll put Vinicius there on the bench maybe. Doesn't matter. All right, so there we go. All right, and now the captaincy. This is my final thing to determine for the deadline. So I've currently got the armband on Erling Haaland. I'm kind of getting flashbacks of not captaining him in FPL over the weekend, not even having him in my team, and also not captaining him in the last match day in UCL Fantasy, which cost me in the end, despite getting 11 points from João Mario. That's what I'm kind of worried about. But facing Bayern Munich, I might, just take a little punt and go for a Benfica player. So now let's put a new poll out. That will be the next thing, and that will be the captaincy for today. Remember, captain someone from today, then you can switch it tomorrow. We've got almost 600 people watching, by the way, still, so thank you very much. Let's try to rack this stream up to 300 likes, or as close as possible to that milestone. We're going to stream for another 20 minutes, half an hour or so, and then we'll wrap up. But it's obviously, thankfully, we've been able to stream today, but unfortunately, because of the internet, I've had to downgrade the quality to 360. Hopefully, I don't have to do this again, but I can't guarantee anything. So yeah, the vote had over 1,000 votes. So that will also help you with your decision making. Let's now put a poll out for the captaincy. So who are you going to captain today? And also let me get rid of the pin comment. No need for that anymore. So yeah, let's go for Haaland. I think he's going to be the most popular option, as usual. Gonzalo Ramos. And we're going to go for Rafa Silva. João Mario, and we're going to go for a Bayern player. Yeah, we'll go for Gnabry / Sane / whoever. All right, so yeah, I think that's fine. I put the poll out now on the channel. Be sure to vote and let me know who you're going to be captaining today. For me, I have to say, the closer we get to the deadline, the more tempted I am to switch it. But it's really 50-50. Best Madrid defender, Militao for me. I bought in Gnabry in the end. I like his output more than Grealish. I already have KDB and Haaland. So if Bayern score, I want to get some share of the green. Yeah, I agree. And also, the reason why I probably got Gnabry in the end is because I don't have any Bayern Munich coverage whatsoever. And I really want some. Gnabry or Grealish? I've gone for Gnabry, so that'll be my answer, but honestly, it's 50-50. If you look at recent form, and also in terms of who's more nailed on, it's Grealish, but I just like Gnabry's ownership, and I also like him playing out position in this Thomas Tuchel team. What else do we have? Gnabry or Grealish? We've covered Grealish, Kimmich, Koeman, Musiala, Valverde. I would go for Gnabry, but because you can't afford him, from those lot, I'd probably go for Grealish, actually. It's between him and Koeman, and I'd probably go for Grealish. Black Dimos for Onana. I already have the same Ramos, Real Mario, Grimaldo, and Antonio Silva, and no one from Inter. If it's for free, then yeah, I would do it, but otherwise, it's not worth it. And Onana's a really good goalkeeper. You get so many points in general. I've got 2 keepers starting on the same day. I don't think it's worth selling one of them for a -4. I just keep what you have. Is Dzeko a good choice? I don't think so. I don't think he is, to be honest. It's not a bad choice, but he's not a great one. Let me put it that way. Yeah, he could be benched in the second leg, but I'm also open to selling him. It's kind of like a 1-week punt, let's put it that way. Really tempted by captaining Mario versus his former team Inter. Yeah, no, that's fair. Will Federico only start right wing? Possible, likely he could play mid and Rodrigo still right wing. It's possible, Marco, but a lot of the time they are kind of competing for the same position. Diaz or Militao? Militao. Kim Min-jae or Di Lorenzo? Di Lorenzo without a shadow of a doubt. Double Napoli defense or Darmian to Militao or Diogo Costa to Courtois and bench merit. Darmian to Militao looks the best, but honestly, they're all pretty good options. Gnabry took last Bayern pen, but Moting was already subbed. He took the one before that and missed. Yeah, thank you for that, Twister Parky. I appreciate it. Yeah, if Bayern Munich get a penalty today, hopefully Gnabry converts it. Ruben Diaz or Milan defender? Ruben Diaz. Under 8.4 million midfielder? Grealish. Sane or Valverde? Sane. Pavard or Davis or Diaz or Stone, says Akash. From those 4, I would go for Diaz. Take it for Osimhen to Gonzalo Ramos? I probably would. Instead of going with Grimaldo, go for Antonio Silva, Gilberto Jr. Instead of going with Di Lorenzo, I'd still go for Grimaldo, to be honest. But if you can't afford him, then those are some decent alternatives. Guerrero por Militao por un -4. Tengo a Chilwell, Di Lorenzo, Grimaldo y Ba. El problema es que Ba está lesionado. Salió del campo en contra Porto a los 26 minutos. Guerrero por Militao. No me gusta tomar un hit por un defensor. Eso no me gusta. Pero Militao es uno de los mejores defensores en esta temporada o en esta jornada. Así que sí, no es el peor transferencia, pero te digo la verdad, no me gusta tomar un hit por un defensor. Akanji o Ake? Ake. Serbi, Darmian or Kim Min-jae? Probably Kim Min-jae. Captain Joao Mario, Ramos or Haaland? That is the big question we have now. 74% of you have gone for Haaland. Not too much of a surprise there. I do want to go different, but I just know Haaland can punish me big time. And yeah, I think just with the quality he has and how good Man City have been, kind of difficult to go against that. KDB and Leao or Giroud and Grealish and Ramos? I'd go for Grealish and Ramos, but both duos are fine. Benzema. Benzema for me is probably the best forward this week, period. A Serbi, Darmian or Kim Min-jae, we've covered Yasir. Diaz or Theo Hernandez, I'd go for Diaz. Their obscure plays. Should I sell Otamendi for a -4 to Eder Militao? Like I said in Spanish just now, I don't like taking hits for defenders, but Militao is one of the best defenders this week, so it's not a bad hit. It's just I'm not a big fan of that. Thank you, Yasir. Ruben Diaz or Ake? I think Ake is better just for price and in terms of budget and value, and it could give you the funds you need later on for other moves, but honestly, both are fine. Awesome Kimmich. In terms of budget midfielders, he's one of the better ones. He's very good for assists, balls recovered, and stuff like that. Vlaco Dimos or Onana? Vlaco Dimos. Militao or Diaz? I would go for Militao. Theo or Darmian? I'd probably go for Theo. Just a little bit. Thank you, Joao. I appreciate it. Couldn't believe when Sporting eliminated Arsenal in Europa League. Do you think we have a chance against Juventus? Yeah, you do. I think Sporting are a decent team. Yeah, I think the Arsenal... Well, I have to be honest with Arsenal. I wasn't that upset. The thing is, the league is the priority, and I just know Arsenal in Europe aren't it. You know, even if Arsenal beat Sporting, I just didn't see Arsenal winning the Europa League. I don't think they put one good performance in that competition. I think over the course of the 2 legs, I think Sporting deserved it, but you could argue that Adam was probably the MVP in both matches. So I think it was kind of a good game between 2 good sides, and I think the better team won at the end of the day, at least on the day. Who's going to mark Haaland, De Ligt or Upamecano? think just both of them, to be honest. I think both of them. But I think the one that will probably be more on him is Upamecano. My rank is 1,200 in the world. That's really good to hear, Iso, thank you very much for that. Mario restarts. I think so, but he's not someone I'd buy necessarily. Just to say Bayern have conceded, yeah, 2 goals for Victoria Pilsen, but in every other game they've kept a clean sheet, which is remarkable. Coman or Rodrigo or Grealish or Zielinski? I'd say Grealish. Now, if Rodrigo starts, I think he's the best of them all. But just to be safe, I'd say Grealish. Rafa Silva or Leao? Leao. Yeah, I think Leao just a little bit more. It kind of goes both ways, though. Keep Chua or sell? I'd sell, and I'd probably go to a Madrid defender or Benfica one. So you're looking at Militao or Grimaldo, Antonio Silva, etc. Kimmich or Rodri? Kimmich. Sani or Gnabry? I would go for Gnabry. Martinez or Ramos? Ramos, for sure. Grealish over Gnabry, says Dundalf. I've gone for Gnabry, so that's what I'm sticking with. Yeah, I think Lozano will play, especially with Osimhen being out. No Simeone. Raspadori could be on the bench as well. If we save a transfer, will it roll over? No, it won't, Braden. It won't. Rafa Silva or Leao, we've covered. Damian Tafio for -4. No, it's not worth it, in my opinion. Akanji or Ake? I'd go for Ake, Patrick. Rafa Silva or Leao? I would go for Leao. Dumfries is a good option. Yeah, he's a decent option, but I think Benfica will score. I'd go for Rudiger, personally, or Militao. You've already got Militao, so yeah, I'd go for Rudiger. Who am I captaining? At the moment it's Haaland, but I'm kind of tempted to go different. I'm torn over Gnabry. When I picked him last year, I think he did nothing. Yeah, it was kind of a few years ago when he was on fire and he was a fantastic UCL fantasy option. Ramos or Leao? I'd go for Gonzalo Ramos there. Worth owning only 1 goalkeeper, Benfica's this match day? Yeah, I wouldn't take a hit to just have 2 goalkeepers, let me put it that way. So it's not the end of the world there. So yeah, 77% of you have gone for Haaland. That is quite remarkable. Also not maybe too surprising. Yeah, I have to say, oh my god, I do want to go against him, but I always get punished whenever I don't have Haaland or when I don't captain him, so I'm kind of worried. Gnabry, Sane or Coman, says, Callum, can you list 1 to 3 best? It'd be Gnabry first, Sane second, Coman third, in the order you wrote it. Captain, KDB or Haaland? I'd definitely go for Haaland out of those two. Just for this week, Ake or Diaz? Probably Diaz. I don't know what you're talking about, Vera. It's literally on screen. Oh, okay. You can't see the full team, but I mean, you can pretty much gather what it is. Let me just go here. Yeah, it's a different screen. I forgot to put it here. I don't have my stream deck, which makes it kind of annoying. Thank you, Samuel. I appreciate it. Get rid of Cancelo for a hit, says Bianco Recovery, I think it is. I don't like taking hits for defenders, but because Cancelo's not starting, yeah, I'd probably take the hit, but I'm not a big fan of it. I think Haaland will score max 1 against Bayern. Yeah, I think Haaland will score, but only once, I agree. But you just know that Haaland could go crazy, even against a team as good as Bayern. That's the problem. Yeah, that is true. Otherwise, Benzema tomorrow. It could be a case here of Haaland gets, let's say, a goal and an assist. He gets 9 points. And you end up not switching the captaincy tomorrow, and then Benzema gets 15 or something like that. So literally, I think nailing on the captaincy in the first day, it can be a gift and it could also be a curse. And sometimes it can be a blessing in disguise. It's kind of a difficult one to nail on, really. Yeah, so apologies for that, Vera. I actually wasn't aware, so thank you for that. At Captain Haaland, then you can decide if you want to go against the score tomorrow. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I'm probably just going to stick with him, but I don't know. It's kind of a tricky one. You're kind of damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Get KDB and Coman for Gnabry for a -4, or don't get KDB and get Gnabry instead for no hit. Yeah, just get Gnabry instead for no hit, I think. Thank you, Kiz. Good luck to you as well. Sure about Gnabry over Sane? It's close. It's not like one's vastly superior to the other, but I would go for Gnabry. My predictor scores, I showed them earlier, but I'll probably log them in right now since we've literally got 8 minutes left. Damian or Dumfries? Probably Damian. Need to make up 3 million with your ideal wildcard. What would I change? Sane down to Grealish. And if not, just in one move, you could just do Sane down to Kimmich and you're kind of done already. But yeah, if not, Sane down to Grealish, and I think a few other moves could include... yeah, I think it could include Ruben Diaz downgraded as well to Ake if I've got Diaz there as well. So let me know. Good luck, guys. Thanks still for the stream. Thank you, Jose. I appreciate it. Carval or Militao or Reece James? Militao. Chilwell or James? I'd go for Chilwell, but I wouldn't go for either, to be honest. I have Onana and the Benfica goalkeeper. Do I take a hit? No, I wouldn't. Do you think it's worth to have an inter-defender instead of a City defender? Just to have at least one inter-defender? Yeah, they've got a decent, clean sheet record, good defense, but I still prefer Man City defenders long term, but I can understand what you're saying. I think Benfica will score, so if you have a City defender, I'd probably just keep. Is Carvalho a safe pick? I think he'll start, but I don't think he's a safe pick. I think the safe ones are Rudiger and Militao, with Militao being the most nailed. Grealish and Coman plus Courtois, or KDB and Coman, no Courtois. Both are fine. Ideally, you'd have Courtois, but it's not the end of the world if you don't have him. I'd probably go for the Grealish, Coman, and Courtois trio. What to do with Cancelo? I'd sell. Haaland or Mario captain? I'm going for Haaland at the moment, probably just because of how frightening he's been in recent weeks. Sell Osimhen? Yes. I have one sub left, but don't need it. Would you take out Di Lorenzo, Grimaldo, Silva, Bastoni, Upamecano for anyone? Also Onana merit. I'd potentially get rid of Bastoni. I'd go for Real Madrid defender there, Twisted. I'd personally do Bastoni to Militao. Thank you, Demontis. I appreciate it. Good luck to you as well. Can you enjoy the play on the field even if your fantasy team is doing poorly? Yeah, I think in the Premier League, with Arsenal doing so well this season, even when I have kind of a bad week, it's not the end of the world because, if you're telling me, would you rather finish first in FPL, would you rather Arsenal win the league? I'm taking Arsenal in the league all day long. So, not necessarily. If it's kind of like a team or a game I'm not interested in, and I'm doing poorly in UCL Fantasy, then yeah, maybe I'd have a bit less fun, let's say. Yeah, fair enough. But if you want to go different, I'd just rather go for a Benfica player. Grealish and Gnabry, sorry. No worries, Alex. Let's see. Oh, so Grealish and Gnabry. Yeah, I'd go for the Grealish and Gnabry one anyway. Yeah. Kimmich or Valverde or Modric? Probably Kimmich. It's between him and Modric. How long is Osimhen out for? It's not confirmed, but he should be back by mid to late April. I think he'll be back in time for Matchday 10. Let's put it that way. Blacko Demos is better, Javier, in my opinion. Thank you, Twister Parky. Kante for ball recoveries, possibly, but his fitness is a big concern. What about Tonali? He's been pretty decent, but I wouldn't go for him. I think there are better options. Thank you, Ganawi. Good luck to you as well. Gnabry or Sane says, Omabek. Gnabry. I've gone for him. Why Gnabry instead of Sane? Because he's out of position. He also scored in, just 4 minutes against PSG a few weeks ago. Look, I like Sane a lot, and typically he's my favourite Bayern Munich midfielder, but I've just gone for Gnabry because of his out-of-position nature and also his low ownership. So that's pretty much it. I have mixed feelings about having 4 Benfica players. What a year they're having. Yeah, but Benfica have been great. They've been one of the best teams in Europe. Hopefully, I've said even a few weeks ago, months ago, I still think Man City have the better chance, but Arsenal will definitely have it in their hands, and they can do it. Musiala, Kimmich or Valverde. From those three, I'd go for Kimmich. KDB plus Coman or Grealish and Gnabry. I would go for Grealish and Gnabry, but it's really close. Both duos are good. Thank you, Omabek, and good luck to you as well. -4 from Osimhen, Haaland, Mahrez, Vinicius, Florentina. Yeah, look, your team is good. The big concerns for you would be Mahrez, and I don't think Valverde is the best option necessarily, but the rest looks fantastic there. And this is in regards to KA7 Lanzi's question. So yeah, Mahrez obviously is benched now. Florentino is a budget option, but he can still give you 3 to 5 points. Valverde, I'm not so sure about, but the rest is good. Yeah, Ibrahim, I'm doing well. What about you? And good luck to you as well. Blacko Demos or Edison? Blacko Demos. Is it worth keeping Mahrez? I don't think so. Good luck to everyone. Yeah, good luck to you as well. I don't think so. Napoli have a chance, but I think they'll reach the final and lose. That's my personal prediction. I think one of Madrid, Bayern, or Man City will win it. And my favourite from the beginning has been Madrid. I'll probably stick to them. But if you look at performances and results so far in this campaign, you'd probably say Bayern have been the best so far. It's not been the best team overall, but yeah, quite an interesting one. We've got 3 minutes left for the deadline. Harvey says Grealish will score. Fakri says good luck all. Good luck to you as well. Best defender for around 4.7 million. I'd say Antonio Silva or Ake. And Antonio Silva's my favourite. All the best. Thank you, Nikhil. I appreciate it. We would love to see you doing live commentary stream. Yeah, I'm going to go out straight after this stream. Maybe when I'm back in the UK, I wouldn't mind staying on, kind of longer. with 1080p quality and all of that, the usual setup. And actually, I've said this before, this internet is actually quicker than it is at home. The problem is that today, for some reason, the speeds have massively dropped. It might be because of the heat wave. I don't know. It's like 31 degrees in autumn here. But, that's why I had to compensate the video quality a little bit. I have a feeling a Milan team can make it to the final. Yeah, no, you're right. And they've got the best European history out of those teams on that side of the bracket. Deadline stream early goal. Yeah, there's always an early goal, isn't there? Pretty much always. If not, there's a disallowed goal or some controversy. Good luck. Let's talk Vigno. Doble defensa de Benfica, Man City y Napoli. Reza por Milan. Y para mí no es tan malo tener doble defensa de Benfica. Y sí, también de Nápoles en contra AC Milan. No es lo peor. No es ideal, pero no creo que va a ser tan malo para vos. Your opinion on should Messi go back to Barca? I think so. He's not appreciated at PSG. The only thing I'd say is that he's won all of his major international trophies with Argentina whilst at PSG. So hopefully he doesn't, kind of jinx it again or whatever. But yeah, I think it's the right move for his career, of course. And at Barcelona, they're a much better team than PSG right now. Barcelona's problem is translating their league form to Europe and the cup competitions. Barcelona remind me a lot of Arsenal this season. Good luck to you as well, Ventislav. Enjoy the matches. Let's wait and see what happens. Think I'll go Gnabry because I have no Bayern Munich midfielder or Man City defender. Yeah, same here, Marco. That's exactly why I've done it. Be sure to lock in your transfers. We've got literally a minute left. Probably seconds at this point. Vlachodimos Ronana. I'd go for Vlachodimos this week. I back Benfica to go through. But most importantly, in this match day, I think Benfica have a better chance of a clean sheet. Good luck, El Padrino. And good luck to you as well, Free LL Boy. And to everyone else watching. So almost 80% of you have gone for Erling Haaland as captain. We're now locked in. Haaland is going to be my captain. Yeah, everything is locked in. Okay, so I think everything's fine. I was able to sort out my team. Yep, just making sure. It would have been... I'd have probably been crying if I wasn't able to lock in my team. So yeah, I've captained Haaland for today. I've made 5 transfers. I brought in Gonzalo Ramos, Karim Benzema, Kevin De Bruyne, Serge Gnabry, and I also made a change in the back line with Eder Militao coming in. So things are looking pretty good. Hopefully things go well here in the Champions League today. Good luck to all of you watching. I'll try to answer a few more questions and comments before wrapping up this video. And by the way, I'm refreshing this other page just to make sure that it's all locked in. I actually forgot to change the predictions, but it's fine. Not to worry. I don't think I'd have changed much here anyway. So I went for 2-1 Man City against Bayern Munich. Remember, Bayern Munich have only considered 2 goals in the Champions League all season against Victoria Pilsen. Benfica 2-0 against Inter Milan. 2-1 for AC Milan against Napoli, although I could change that for tomorrow. And Real Madrid 3-0 against Chelsea. And that's where I'm going to put my booster on as well. So yeah, I think I'm going to stick with that. I can't change it anyway because the games have kicked off. Let's see now. If I refresh it, should now change. But yeah, that is all done. We've covered everything we need to today. Thank you to everyone for watching. It's been a pleasure talking to all of you. And now let's have a bit of fun. Let's just chill a little bit. Thank you, Vera. I appreciate it. I've got Mario Captain. Good luck, Twister Parky. I hope it pays off for you. Skygirl says, thank you as always, Dylan, and good luck to everyone. Hope you don't melt. Raining in the UK. It's typical. Literally, like, on the day I left the UK, it was raining. Every single day throughout the week, it was raining. And here, it's literally 25 degrees to 30 degrees every single day in autumn. It's absolutely unbelievable. I think just literally 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, it was 40 degrees. Imagine that. Good luck, Dylan, and all. Hope City beat Bayern, but lose to Real. Yeah, and even if Man City reach the final, I don't mind that. It might benefit Arsenal in the long run. Obrigado, Dylan. Oh yeah, speaking in Portuguese, I'm not sure if I can say the rest. Voy asistir ao juego. Boa suerte. Yeah, I can understand what you're saying. You're going to watch the game. Good luck. I just can't speak Portuguese. So yeah, my Portuguese is much better than my Spanish. No worries there. No worries. It has begun. Good luck, everyone. Good luck, Ibrahim. Good luck to you as well, Johnny and Tech. It's always a pleasure. Salah has a bug or something. Couldn't transfer him out. Probably the website crashed or something. Not necessarily Salah has a bug himself. And that's why, I mean, look, with Champions League, I think the website is typically more reliable than the Premier League. But yeah, my guess is that it kind of crashed a little bit on you. Good luck, Teza. Alessandra as well, FPL K-Mag. Hopefully you all do extremely well. I'm now going to go off to another house and watch the games and have some fun. It's literally 4 p.m. In local time here. So it's still the middle of the day. So yeah, I normally want English teams to do well, but Chelsea, Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't really want English teams to do well. Only Arsenal, and that's it. Yeah, I mean, with Man City, I think in terms of how they play, I do like how they play, and also I think maybe before this season I would have warmed up a little bit more to them doing well in Champions League, but this season probably not. Then again, it might benefit Arsenal, so there's a lot of things you could say about that. But yeah, that is pretty much everything covered. I don't know why that changed, by the way, but yeah. Good luck, bruv. Portuguese is easy to learn if you know Spanish. Yeah, the same could be said about Italian. Some words are literally the exact same, like si, no, if you can even count that. But yeah, actually, I learned a few words in Italian, and I could get an Italian passport, actually. Yeah, I've got some, let's just say some documentation, some family heritage from Italy, so I could even get that. But yeah, Portuguese, I'm not so sure if I'm even going to learn it. I still need to improve my Spanish, let me put it that way. But yeah, let's go back to my team here. Let's go back to this screen. And yeah, that is pretty much all covered. We could have been there next year, but Saturday's officials have made that impossible. Yeah, Brighton got robbed. Even some other games had some really dodgy officiating. For me, the Liverpool-Arsenal referee was absolutely awful. He catered to the crowd. He literally, every 50-50 decision for Liverpool, he went their way. For example, the penalty they got is exactly, the kind of fouls that Arsenal players were suffering in the middle of the pitch, and he didn't give those, but he gave the penalty. So, yeah, obviously what you experienced is one of the biggest robberies of the season, and something that Arsenal probably experienced last season, but I don't want to go into that. We know how bad Premier League refs are, and trust me, I went to a game in Argentina literally 2 weeks ago. The referee was awful there as well. We had two disallowed goals. VAR then allowed a goal for the other team and stuff like that. Referees are awful everywhere. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, Stuart Atwell was someone I've been talking about for time. He's absolutely awful. If you just look at the Man City Arsenal game from last season, you will know how bad of a referee he is. But thank you to everyone for watching. It's been a pleasure. Thank God we've been able to get this stream done. And we've been able to stream until the very end. Be sure to smash the like button and subscribe for new and all that good stuff. And also check the links in the description below for the Twitter and Instagram, Dylan RCM, the Patreon, the channel memberships, the Discord server, and the UCL Fantasy League. And also a link to also have 3 months for free for ExpressVPN. Be sure to check that out. I'll be mentioning that in some upcoming videos as well. And you'll see the benefits to you. Remember, it's only for free that you can get for 3 months, so it's definitely worth it, and we'll be talking about that very soon. I should stop blaming VAR, the tech, the officials are terrible. Yeah, VAR isn't the problem. The issue is the officials in VAR and also the ones on the pitch. Gnabry prick, is that because he used to be at Arsenal? Maybe. No, I think the main reason why is because he's out of position playing as a striker, and also to cover Bayern Munich, and his ownership is so low. Came on the other week against PSG, in 4 minutes he scored a goal. I just like that idea of him leading the line against Man City. But if I knew Rodrigo was starting tomorrow, he would have been coming in for me. But that is it. We've covered everything else as well for Matchday 9. And the plan is also to do content for Matchday 10, the Limitless Wildcard team selection videos. If possible, I'll do that. And hopefully next time we do a stream, I can do so with the usual quality and conditions. And of course, by the time we get to, I think, Game Week 32 in FPL, I'll be back in the UK and things will be back to normal. But thank you to everyone for watching. I appreciate all the support. Take care, enjoy the football. Let's now go off to watch the Champions League. I'll see you next time.